I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. In the Washington, D.C. federal criminal case against Donald Trump before Federal Judge Tanya Chutkan being prosecuted by Special Counsel Jack Smith for Trump's attempt to overthrow the 2020 election results, Donald Trump is seeking to gain access to CIPA Section 4 information, classified documents, in other words, that Special Counsel Jack Smith wants to submit to Judge Tanya Chutkan ex parte and without Donald Trump looking at the documents because of their sensitivity. Donald Trump wants access to these classified documents and is demanding access to these documents in this absolutely absurd, clownish motion that I want to discuss. To understand what's going on here, let's first just do a brief reminder that CIPA stands for Classified Information Procedures Act, and CIPA is a procedure that deals with how do the prosecution and defendant deal with highly classified, sensitive, top secret, compartmented information during cases where there is a Sixth Amendment right and other due process rights that criminal defendants have to get access to information that is relevant to the case so that they can establish their defenses before the jury. We all agree they should have a right to that. But what do we do when some of these documents are highly classified and that by showing it to a criminal defendant can cause serious national security concerns? CIPA addresses that, and CIPA Section 4 goes even deeper than CIPA, because CIPA, Classified Information Procedures, acts like, look, where are classified documents reviewed in cases that involve classified information? They must be reviewed in SCIFs, sensitive compartmented information facilities. How do we transport these documents? What times can these documents be looked at that are classified? Well, let's rely on what's called a Classified Information Security Officer, a CISO, who can help in the handling of these documents. How do they get filed? How do they get shipped to the courtroom? All of that is governed by the Classified Information Procedures Act. So obviously, CIPA is a major issue in the Southern District of Florida case before the corrupt Judge Eileen Cannon, who Donald Trump appointed back in 2020, who's presiding over the case involving Trump's theft of classified documents. In that case, Judge Cannon has temporarily stayed and delayed all of the deadlines regarding the CIPA procedures there. I've done other hot takes on that because she's causing this incremental delay that I've predicted is trying to derail the trial date there, which is scheduled for May of 2024. So that's the Southern District of Florida. But here, this motion that Donald Trump just files in the Washington, D.C. case before Federal Judge Tanya Chutkan, because there are a subset of highly classified documents there as well. And that case relates to Trump's attempt to overthrow our democracy. And Special Counsel Jack Smith's like, look, there's a CIPA protective order. That's at issue, but there are still the subset of documents here under CIPA Section 4 that we do not want to turn over to Donald Trump's lawyers at all, even though there's what's called a Brady right to see any potential documents that may be exculpatory, that may tend to be utilized in any criminal defendant's defense. We don't want to turn that over to Donald Trump. But what CIPA Section 4 says is that's okay when you're dealing with this highly sensitive subset of very sensitive classified informations where a prosecutor can move ex parte, can go to the judge directly, even without the other side, and say, Judge, here's the issue. Instead of the document itself, can we summarize in a way that still gives the defendant understanding and knowledge about what this document is? Can we summarize the document and provide another means that satisfies the defendant's due process rights, but also balances that with our national security interests? That's a CIPA Section 4 motion. I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but that's basically what a CIPA Section 4 motion is. So Jack Smith did a SEPA Section 4 motion in the Southern District of Florida, where Judge Cannon delayed that essentially indefinitely, although Cannon calls it a temporary delay. Judge Chutkan is moving the case forward, unlike Judge Cannon. So Judge Chutkan's like, okay, let's move ahead. Let's do briefing on this issue, but in an expedited way. I'm not doing indefinite temporary delay. So then Trump files this: Donald Trump's motion for access to SEPA Section 4 filings. You see, that's why I wanted to give you the background of what SEPA Section 4 is before going into some of the details, the nooks and crannies of this motion, so you understand that this is about Jack Smith's wanting to substitute a summary in place of a very sensitive classified document or documents because there's a belief that it would harm our national security interest. And you have Donald Trump's lawyer saying, nope, we want the document. Trump wants access to the document. So that's what's going down here.
And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Roan. If you're like me, you understand the pains of finding out what to wear. Let's face it, most clothes are uncomfortable or too tight or never actually the size that you really are, and not to mention the annoyance of trying to put together a good outfit. And when you finally do have a good fit, you can only wear it for a few hours before you have an important meeting or dinner, and then you have to change. Everyone wants to dress their best and look good at all times because, frankly, it's a confidence booster. So here's the deal. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. And here's why. Roan helps you get ready for any occasion with the commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan commuter collection. Roan's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. With the Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. I absolutely love Roan. This has truly become my go-to commuter fit. We're on the move a lot. Whether it's jumping from meeting to meeting or catching a flight or an important dinner, the Roan commuter collection has never let me down. The versatility and overall comfort of the collection is undefeated. Even after I wear it all day, I still feel super fresh because of the Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/Meidas and use promo code Meidas to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/Meidas and use code Meidas. It's time to find your corner office. And now back to the video.
And when I say it was a clownish motion, just look how it even starts. President Donald Trump's motion for access to SEPA Section 4 filing. You can, if you want to say former president, that's fine. If you want to say criminal defendant, that's better, or defendant Donald Trump's. But when you're referring to yourself already as the president, a judge's not going to take you seriously when you're not the current president. So already it shows the lack of seriousness and why documents need to be withheld. Remember, Donald Trump's the only former president who doesn't have access to kind of our national security daily briefings because of what a danger he is to our country. And so here's what the motion that Donald Trump's asking for. He says, Donald Trump respectfully, and they say president. I'm not going to read it every time it says that, though. Donald Trump respectfully submits this memo in response to the court's October 6, 2023 order seeking access to the September 25, 2023 SEPA Section 4 filing by Jack Smith, Special Counsel's Office. A motion pursuant to SEPA Section 4 is a critical juncture where the government asks the court to endorse the withholding of discoverable material by determining, inter alia, Latin for among other things, whether the material is relevant or helpful to the defense. In effect, because SEPA creates no new rights or limits on discovery of a specific area of classified information, prosecutors filing a motion pursuant to this provision are seeking permission to withhold Brady material. Brady material is exculpatory material that has to be turned over in a criminal case. These motions require the court to stand in a defendant's shoes, predict the defenses the defendant has not yet presented, and is entitled to develop and modify the cases submitted to the jury for deliberations, and protect important defense rights to exculpatory information relevant to trial and sentencing, including impeachment material. I don't fully agree with that. I think that overstates what SEPA Section 4 is, because it will allow a summary in place of the actual document. It doesn't require the judge to predict all of the defenses. The way I would conceive of it is it requires a judge to balance national security interests with the due process Brady right interests of a criminal defendant. That's how I would phrase it. In contrast to the mandatory terms of another statute, SEPA Section 4 makes clear that the court may, but need not allow the prosecutor to shield their submission. They go from President Trump. It should be from Donald Trump. While acknowledging the court's discretion to permit the special counsel's office to proceed ex parte under Section 4 in this crucial setting, we respectfully submit that doing so is not necessary. We seek attorney's eyes only access to the paragraphs and pages of the submission that are not portion marked as classified, and to the office's citation to legal authority which are not classified. In light of the court's October 6th order ruling regarding the public access, we recognize that any such redacted version of the SEPA Section 4 submissions would be maintained under seal and subject to the protective orders in this case. A few things to note here. Number one, you see that they understand that Judge Chutkan knows the law, unlike the way they treat Judge Cannon in the Southern District of Florida. Because the way they treat Judge Cannon is, hey, Judge Cannon, what is this SEPA Section 4? Just delay all the deadlines. And then Judge Cannon doesn't. On the other hand, you see here with Judge Chutkan how they respect her, and they're basically recognizing that she knows what the law is. So what they're trying to do is they're saying, look, why don't we make a deal here, Judge Chutkan? Why don't you let us, if we don't get all of the SEPA Section 4, why don't we just see the case citations and authorities, and maybe we could look at a few other pages. You could trust us, Chutkan. We'll do it as attorney's eyes only, meaning that we won't even share it with Trump. That's a solution, right? Well, when you're arguing in other briefs, first of all, that Donald Trump threatening to execute witnesses is acceptable behavior. When you're out there giving media interviews each and every day, and in these media interviews where you're talking about the legal strategy, attacking the judge every single day, when you're engaged in all of that behavior, I don't think the judge is going to be okay with your attorney's eyes only. I think that the judge is going to be very skeptical of you. When you keep calling Donald Trump the president when he's not, again, I think the judge is going to look very skeptically on you here. But you see how they're trying to say, okay, we want Trump to get it, but if not, maybe cut a deal. Let's just look at a little bit of it, please, Judge. And that's the kind of overall Trump strategy. He tries to take a little, and before you know it, incrementally, the whining and the complaining and all of that has now kind of encapsulated everything. And that's where Judge Chutkan, not Judge Cannon, has to be focused on, and she will absolutely be. We'll keep you updated, but this is Trump's attempt to learn more about what those classified documents could be in the DC case. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Support the MeidasTouch Network at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.